Hey, what's up? In there. How's it going, Brett?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Very good, very good. How's things in your neck of the woods? Where are you coming in from today?
T-Town, man, Tuscaloosa. I just got home. It's been a long day. I'm exhausted.
Well, happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday, except for I work on Saturdays too, unless I take off.
Oh, yeah. So it's nice. It's a normal day for you, my friend.
Welcome
to the show, man. I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Sorry I was running late. Like I said, I just got in the doors. It's been a wild week.
It has, hasn't it? All the way around. Yep. Oh man! So I'm sure you saw the news that's hit today, fresh, or the actual the news insider piece. We're gonna get on that for sure as we get further in. But before we do that, I want to talk more about you and more about your group, and kind of just get to know how you got started in doing what you do and exactly what you do.
Oh man, well, I'm just a big football fan. I got I guess started with the spring leagues. You know, I started watching and paying attention to them probably back in 01 with the original XFL. So I'm definitely an XFL fan. But of course, I'm just spring football fan in general. So I support the USFL and XFL. I'm extremely pumped about the pending merger. I guess I started my group. I run the National Spring Football League group. It was formerly known as XFL and USFL fans, which was by far the biggest XFL and USFL, team group, so to speak, or whatever. And we just recently changed the name, but it looks like I might have to change it again. I guess I jumped the gun on that, which I know I kind of did, but and who knows? I mean, nothing's official yet. Nothing's official, but yeah, I used to have some inside sources with the XFL 2.0, and might know a few people here and there with the USFL. So we'll see. But yeah, man, it's exciting. That I started with the group in 2019. It was the AAF, and then of course changing of it stuck around for the XFL 2020 relaunch, and we've just been hanging around trying to promote the spring football, man. We enjoy it. Birmingham Stallion season ticket holder. I just live about 45, 50 minutes from Protective Stadium. Had a suite for the first year. I actually had a suite for a few of the games for year two. Excited about the future. I'm no more fan of the 4-letter word hub than anyone else. No, nobody's a fan of the hubs, and I'm hoping it's going to be an XFL hub and not a USFL hub style. But we shall see. It's a I think spring football's here to stay, and I really think this merger is just going to solidify things and help them grow moving forward.
Understood. In terms of your actual group, so when you started, what league were you covering? Was it spring football in general, or was it one specific league?
Yeah, it was the AAF.
So
Yep, it
yeah,
was the
you've had this
AAF
rolling
back in
for a while.
2019. Yeah.
Yeah, what was the name of it back then? Do you remember? I'm sure I was in it. I just can't recall.
I'd be lying to you if I could remember, and that's sad, man. But there's been so much that's happened with spring ball since, what they shut down halfway through their year, so I instantly changed it over to want to say 100% XFL fans. And then when COVID shut it down, and I'd already heard a couple months beforehand a new league was coming in before USFL ever announced it. So as soon as that came about, I changed it to XFL and USFL fans, which we remained that way for quite a while up until I guess couple 2-3 weeks ago.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, I'm
But I
experienced with
enjoy
your
it, man.
group.
I've met a lot of people from my group, and I've traveled to Arlington. I went to Canton for the championship game last year, so got to meet a lot of neat folks and big spring football fans from all over the country.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is I'm familiar because I know I personally used to share all kinds of stuff in your group, man. Back when XFL was currently going, but I know back in like AAF or even XFL 2.0, a lot of groups like yours are where we found out a lot of information. Any
Yeah,
fan, you really had to hunt for that info, and that was the best resource that you could find of it all put together, at least.
right.
Um, Everybody there's kind of there for the engagement or to talk. And as long as it doesn't get toxic, it's pretty productive, in my opinion. There's a lot of good conversations, a lot of good information.
Oh, absolutely, man. And unfortunately, there's a lot of at each other's throats right now, and I tried to keep it from being that because I have some players in the group. I got some league employees in the group. I got some players' families in the group, family members, and so I've tried to. I'm all in it for the spring football. Even though I'm a USFL season ticket holder, even though I'm located in Alabama, my first love was the XFL, and I don't understand why there was so much back and forth between both leagues' fan bases. Uh, I never promoted that and tried to keep the group as clean as possible. But right now they're both going at one another, and like I said, I feel like USFL and XFL fans, some of them are just blinded by their fandom. If both leagues were perfect and both leagues were doing fantastic, they wouldn't be merging. So I feel like each league's weaknesses is the other league's strengths, and we need to keep that in mind. And that we're kind of all in this together. And I feel like we need to continue to support them, no matter whether there's 7 hubs, 10 hubs, whatever happens next year. Because if we continue to support them and it continues to grow, I think TV ratings are going to be very strong, and they will be around for a long, long, long time. But you got to keep in mind some people are always going to find something to complain about.
Oh, yeah.
That there's just certain folks that are just that way. So it is what it is. But we're going to continue to enjoy it and promote it and spread the word, man.
Good deal, man. Good to hear. I know I'm going to gauge your opinion on it just in general. You have about, 19,000 people in that group running strong. So you definitely have, you've got to reach, you've got a way to engage a lot of individuals at one time. So it's good
Right,
that
right.
you centered yourself in that mindset instead of being pro one or pro the other. That's
Yeah.
unfortunately what me and you and a lot of others see. And it's sad at the end of the day. I mean, in my opinion.
I'll jump in there. Come here. I'm sorry. I got a couple of fur babies running around. They
No,
might
you're
pop in the
good.
picture from
That's
time to
cool with me. I
time.
love some dogs now. Go ahead.
These are actually cats. I've always been a dog person, but when I met my previous wife, she was, we were friends, and she was big into cats, and they've grown on me, man. They're neat little creatures, man. So now I'm a cat person. Never thought 10 years ago, everybody be like, no, well, I'm a cat person. So,
Hey, you like them all, dude. When you said that, I just thought maybe it'd be a dog, but either way, more the merrier for real.
yeah, I've got 4 solid black female cats.
Wow. You breaking some
Long story.
stereotypes with that, dude.
Yeah, long story.
In terms of your group, man, I mean, what do you think? What does your group represent to you? Like, what is its purpose there in your mind? Being the admin, the creator, what exactly are you hoping to accomplish with the group?
Well, we like I said, kind of try to educate the fans, let them know, like you said, what's going on. We share as much intel as we can, much intel as we get. Some stuff we just can't. But it kind of lets them know, keeps them updated on what's going on. We try to run it, 365, 24/7. So like right now, the fall season, we still, we'll share a little bit here and there, but we keep everybody updated with signings and what's going on. And, obviously right now there's a lot going on with the potential merger and man, it's just, I always tell them to try to add their friends, continue to, if you got friends, coworkers, neighbors that haven't checked the game out, get them to watch a game with you, get them to go to a game with you. And 9 times out of 10, it sticks, man. And it's just people, I guess from a lot of its failures over the years, people just, and they think, well, it's the minor leagues and all that, man. Spring football is a lot of fun. And there's a lot of talent in spring football. You feel really a part of the league, because it's starting, year around from its inception, from the ground up, and you're playing a part in, trying to grow that league, and you get a lot of hands-on talks with league employees, uh, players, just things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do with the NFL.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a lot closer of a feel, and I mean, hands down, in my opinion, it's a lot cheaper than an NFL experience, no doubt. Whether you're talking about USFL or XFL, it doesn't matter. In
Oh yeah, it's
relative
very,
to
very
NFL,
affordable.
yeah, you can get a whole
Yeah,
season tickets worth what one go ahead at an NFL game would be. So
yeah.
it's
And
there
the
for just
teams are
that.
new, man, and it's new traditions, new stuff like the beer snake in DC, or the cacao, all that silliness in St. Louis, or a lot of the stuff that goes on in Birmingham. It's just it's a neat thing, and wouldn't it be great for the first game of the new merge league? Wouldn't it be great if it was the Battlehawks and Birmingham Stallions? Dude, I'm telling you, the ratings would be over a couple million. I would be floored if they wouldn't. You know,
Yeah, people are tuning in just to see what's going on at that point.
right?
Those two names, like
Absolutely.
what is happening here? It's like you had a dream and you're sitting here having a crazy dream. But
Uh,
but the way things
well,
are
a
going,
lot of
man.
us thought this might eventually happen, but yeah, I'm kind of glad they went ahead and did it. Look, if something happens with the merger, with the potential government shutdown and things of that nature, we're going to have football. The XFL is going to have their season. USFL is going to have their season. But isn't it kind of smarter just to go, look, if we see, this is where we're headed. This is probably where we're going to cross at some point, whether it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now. Why not just go ahead and get it started and be done with it? And again, look, I defended hubs and USFL hubs to no end with USFL fans, with XFL fans, and after year 2, I don't know if you've seen some of my posts and some of the things I've said. I'm done with them. I'm done with them. But that being said, we've got a new league. We've got a joint kitty, so to speak, a pocketbook, and I wish people would be more open-minded and understand there's a reason for it. If there wasn't a reason for it, it might not be a possibility. And they're going to try to get as many teams in their markets season 1 as possible. And whether it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't know. But I really feel like it's, just be patient. Look, I was in business and marketing, and I love football, so I'm fascinated by the two different business models. I was from day one. I love it, but I do feel like XFL 2023 3.0 made some mistakes. Made quite a few mistakes leading up to the season, and I think financially it cost them a little bit more than what they thought it. Look, they ain't stupid. They knew that they were going to lose money the first 2-3 years. They even mentioned that. I do feel like whether it's 60 million or whatever it was, they did lose a little more than what they anticipated, and we've also heard reports of that. But I'm such a big fan, and I really pay attention to so many things. And with my sales and marketing background, I feel that for the most part they have no one to blame but themselves. And why keep a let's just move on. Let's just move on. Let's merge. Like I said, each league's strengths are the other's weaknesses, and vice versa. And man, let's continue to support these teams, dude. I'm telling you, I am pumped. I am pumped. Uh, and I understand there's going to be negativity. I get that. But once the dust settles, if you're a football fan, if you're a football fan, and a lot of the games are in home stadiums with fans and all that, you're going to watch, and you should.
And before I get on the merger stuff officially, I want to ask one more thing about your group. You got anything coming up? Any plans? Any kind of updates that you want to tell everybody? Anything that's notable about your group? Or even, I know you got your show going now. You plug that if you want, man. Just anything before we get on another topic. I just want to knock it out.
Yeah, I'm working with Ed, Daddy Ed. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him or not from the X-Fan show. He works with Dirty in Arlington and his daughter Amanda. We started a show this past Monday called The Bottom Line, and it is just another XFL USFL group. I'm the USFL guy, so to speak. He's the XFL guy, but as you can tell by me talking, I support both, and I don't see the need for the going back and forth because ultimately we're all fixing to be supporting the same league.
Yep.
And if you're just bound and determined to be a jerk and don't support it, well, maybe you should just roll on, take a break, take a breather, and then come back when you're ready. Because it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. As much as some of you might want to hate the business plan, it ain't going anywhere. So if you're gonna watch spring football, settle in.
Yeah, it's going to be a show on all fronts. You're going to have your
It will be.
diehards. They're not going to let it go. I mean, it doesn't matter what happens. Someone is not going to be happy in this thing. We know this.
No, oh no, 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 no.
Now, in terms of the actual merger updates, we've all been on the same boat. So I don't want to hash out the same crap we've already talked about on numerous shows, numerous posts, whatever. So let's just talk about what dropped today. Sound good?
Works for me.
All right. So James Larsen reported today on Twitter that we were looking at a possible 8 USFL teams surviving the merge and only 4 XFL teams surviving. Now, this was also reported on another show or insider, Inside the Walls, I think is what it is. I'll have to look it up. But I have this pulled up right here. I'm going to pull it up. So this is from James Larsen on Newsroom itself. All right. So this is just the actual article. It tells you what the details are. Here's his actual post that he put on Twitter. Let me see if I can zoom in. So, like I said, it's developing that there could be a 12-team league. We're looking at 4 XFL teams and 8 USFL teams. The surviving teams in the XFL, according to this source, is STL, DC, San Antonio, and Arlington. So that axes 4 of our other counterparts there with the XFL out, and that would be Orlando, Houston, Seattle, and somebody help me out with the last one.
Vegas.
There we go. Thank you, sir. I knew you'd know it. So we knew the Vegas thing was happening either way. We knew something was going on there. That's not a surprise in anybody's mind.
No.
So that one we can basically write off, in my opinion. I could see that happening. With these other three, I see some difficulty lying with the Orlando and the Seattle. Both of those I feel like are good bases for the XFL. There's vents there. They're doing renovations for things. There's a lot going on at both of these locations. Seattle has a strong fan base, and they're playing in that awesome stadium there. I mean, it's awesome there to be there in person. I don't know. I've just talked to individuals that were there. So with that, to me, I mean, I trust James Larsen, but from what I understand, and according to Mike Mitchell, there's a lot of different scenarios going around right now. Okay. So we can't just hold on to one and hope that it's the true all in all, because we don't know that. And only these guys with the actual sources can tell us this. So let me get this post from Mike Mitchell I shared. I just want to pull this up. So this is from Mike Mitchell. It was posted at 3:11 p.m. today. Those merger details for the UFL and SFL, when they come out, will be fascinating. I've had people inside both leagues propose different scenarios. One GM mentioned 6 teams from each league, a few league employees mentioning 4 and 4. One other personnel suggested 5 and 5. We shall see soon. Term sheet was submitted to DOJ nearly 30 days ago. So at this point, after I read this, I'm thinking this can go either way. We don't truly know what the hell is happening. All we can do is wait it out and see patiently. I know as an XFL fan, we don't want to hear that our teams are being axed, any of them, at any degree. Same thing with USFL fans. They don't want to hear that either if it was the same, shoe on the foot, if you will say. So with this information, as I always say, my job here isn't to tell you what to think. I give you information, and you as in the people at home, not you, Brett. I give the information out, and I want you to decide what you think and look it up for yourself, figure it out, and just, I mean, I'm not going to be the one to give you answers, and Brett isn't either. Mike Mitchell isn't. James Larsen isn't. We are all just waiting. More information, awesome. But in the end of the day, we're still just waiting. It's waiting. It's waiting. So, Brett, what do you think about this piece that dropped today? Tell me, I mean, what's your opinion on it?
And I have haters from probably more haters from the USFL than I do the XFL. Look, the Vegas thing was, I think most of us have touched on that before. No, the Vegas thing was a mess up from the get go. That's one of many mistakes 3.0 made. Not gonna miss them either way, and I mean, it was should never happen, but I'm not gonna get into that. I said my piece long before the year started on that deal. I do not like the Houston situation at all. Yeah, the Houston Gamblers have somewhat of a nostalgic fan base from mid '80s, but the Houston Roughnecks have an established fan base from 2020, from this previous year. And from a business standpoint, with my history of sales, marketing, and all that, it don't make no sense to me at all why you would get rid of the Roughnecks and replace them with the Gamblers. And I get a lot of USFL fans attacking XFL fans in my group about it, or messing with them about it, like it's because they got their way. Well, guys, this ain't about us getting our way. This is about the league being successful and making money and profit. And I don't see how, with making decisions like this, where you get rid of a team that's been around in 40 years, you replace them with a team that has a current fan base that has 10, 12, 14,000 fans coming to games every week. I think as a mass decision, and I wish I was more involved or had a little bit more input, because that would not be happening. Look, I like the Gamblers' uniforms, their logos, and their helmets, and I like the history and all that. And maybe on down the road we can have 2 Houston teams, 3 years, 5 years from now. But if you got to get rid of one, there's no reason whatsoever why you would get rid of the Roughnecks for the Gamblers. I think I've said all I need to say on that. It makes zero financial sense, zero business sense, and I hope it's not true, and I hope it's not happening. In my opinion, all the XFL teams should probably stay, except for Vegas. You're not that. Like I said, I've done touched on that. Orlando, yeah, they would have had a lot bigger and a lot better fan base if they would have had a competent head coach down there. And I'm not going to go on that either. I said what I said. We move on to the next city. I'm really excited and thankful, for Arlington, San Antonio, St. Louis, and DC. I've been so high back in 2019 when I started my spring football group originally. Arlington or San Antonio was one of the cities I kept talking about. San Antonio, Canton, Oakland, Portland, Oklahoma City. Those were my diamonds in the rough that I think should be given a shot for spring football. And you see where San Antonio and Canton's already got one now. Canton needs a team. Canton's a good little facility. I really enjoy it. It's right outside, the Hall of Fame. They need their own team. They really do. But it doesn't need to be the Pittsburgh Maulers or whatever. They need their own team. It needs to be called the Ohio Blitz or the Ohio Gold or the Canton whatever. They need their own team, and I'm down with that. I don't like Seattle either. I feel like Seattle should definitely still be around. They had a really good fan base in 2020. It was disappointing to me and to a lot of us diehard spring football fans that they didn't show out better in 2023. But there again, I blame 3.0 for a lot of that. You changed the team name when they had a very good following from 2020. Makes no damn sense. You changed their uniforms and their logos and their helmets, which everybody pretty much responded well to in 2020. Makes no damn sense. I keep on going on and on. They're the Emerald City. They're real. Those people are real big on green, and their team's wearing green. You cover them in all. Those seem like little petty things, but it starts adding up, and I blame a lot. Some of it's the current economy, and some of it is the decisions that 3.0 made of why their fan base didn't show out more than what they did, including I think they had 2 Thursday night games as well. So I think Seattle definitely deserves a team, and like I said, I've said what I've said. Let's move on.
Hey, no worries, man. I'm gauging your opinion on it. As I said, I'll try not to tell people what's going on. I just like to hear your thoughts and what you think as well,
Well, the diehard XFL fans don't necessarily agree with me, but the people that's more reasonable and realistic, I mean, I might not say what people like to hear, but most of it's accurate and most of it's true. But, you have just as many XFL fanboys as you do USFL fanboys. So
don't
they
forget the
put them
girls
glasses on, and you could have it in black and white, and they still don't want to hear it.
I mean, yeah, you're right. And that, and this is unrelated, Brett, but I feel like that's a lot of our issues here in America right now. Everybody's polarized. You're either on one end, on the other, or there is no critical thinking. There is no let's make the best steps of what we got. It's you don't agree? Well, forget that. I'm not talking to you anymore. So I get it, man.
And a whole lot of common sense either.
Yeah, you got that as well. That went out the door. I feel like you were saying, I definitely attest that a lot of 3.0's issues were just not handled correctly by them. The biggest being, and I've said this numerous times, most of the people that returned to XFL 3.0 were the people that were diehard fans from the first one, the second one, and they'll keep being fans because they love it. Right. They didn't really go outside of that. They didn't pick up the casual NFL fan. They didn't pick up someone that, that needs to be shown what XFL or spring football is all about. So I definitely can attest with you on that in terms of just like community involvement, getting your communities behind the teams. I mean, very few of these communities have real involvement with the teams, and you know that, and I know that too. And I'm not saying USFL is better in any way. I'm just speaking of XFL in itself, because honestly, I don't know about USFL. I haven't researched it. I haven't worked it. I haven't been media for it, so you won't hear me say much. But yeah, man, I attest to what you're saying. Yeah. With the general feel of like your group, what are they saying? Like, give me just an understanding of your typical XFL fan and your typical USFL fan right now. What are those attitudes looking like?
It's a straight up split. I did a poll a few nights ago. Do you feel like hubs are a necessity for a new spring football league to succeed? The first, having a hub the first couple, 2-3 years, and there was literally, I think, about 170 votes. And it was basically 55-45. It is totally split down the middle, depending on whether they're an XFL fan or USFL fan. I mean, I was seeing who all voted, and yeah, you got XFL fans on one side, USFL fans on the other side. It is really split right now, and I hate it, because whenever the news does break, I'm gonna be pumped and excited, and a lot will be, but you're gonna have a lot out there that wants to just raise hell and down it, and one thing James Larsen had said or tweeted, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago, said, if you're a spring football fan, you better get used to hubs. I don't think they're going to be around forever. I really don't. And I hope not. I'm done with them. I've had 2 years of them. But I understand. I get it. I just don't know how much money it does save you, because how many fans do you really pick up in the Houston Gamblers area, New Orleans Breakers area, New Jersey Generals areas, when they're not even playing in New Orleans or New Jersey or Houston? So I mean, does it? You also, there's philosophy called you got to spend money to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a fine line there, and that's another thing, like I said, that fascinates me about this whole thing. I just wish people on both sides were a little more open-minded and would try to think outside their little USFL or XFL box. Like I said, we all fix to be rooting for the same league.
Step brothers, baby.
I thought or hoped the petty would have stopped weeks ago when this is announced, but obviously not.
Oh no! Until the truth hits the fan, everything's going to be screwy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. What if the DOJ doesn't approve their plan? Guess what? We are waiting again for a while.
Yeah. It makes me wonder with the current, government situation and all that. I mean, have they even looked at it yet? I mean, do we have an update? Have somebody pick up the phone and say, "Hey, you guys cleared this yet?" I mean, where are we at?
I'm not sure the process or procedure there, but it should be.
I don't have a clue.
It should be soon now. It's not like copyrighting something where that takes a long time. It should be soon. But the only issue that is, we're going to be running into holidays soon. We got this impending conflict over in the Middle East and everywhere else. There's a lot of stuff going. So you're right about that. It is a concern. Personally, I wasn't concerned about that myself until this news that, keeps hitting the shelves about everything going on. I don't want to get into political stuff on here, but yeah.
Right.
So we'll see, dude. In terms of the hubs, I feel like most fans would deal well with a hub hybrid style, kind of like the XFL did. But any of the XFL fans, unless you're in your city, they're going to be disappointed with this. And that's that's a given. There's no way around it. There's no comparison in the two. And it's just a different way to support your team. And so as a Houston fan too, it hits me a little close to heart, and I understand. And like today when I read that, I just shook my head. I mean, what am I going to say? It sucks, but it's either you accept it, move forward, and support whatever we have next, or you just don't. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, I've got faith in that. I mean, you've got some very smart people here from Fox and Redbird and all that, and you just got to have faith in their. It's like I see some of these keyboard warriors, I call them, on in my group. I just think I believe I will trust those guys with a business plan over yourself. You know, but the one point that I would definitely have to agree with them, and I have, is this whole Houston thing. It just don't make good sense to me. But like I said, it might be a rumor. I mean, it's obviously not done yet. I heard 2 or 3 days ago from a league employee the schedules are not set. He didn't get into what teams were set, but they're still kicking around numerous options. So I mean, I think this is almost changing daily. And like you said, it depends on who's talking to who. So I'm about 100% sure nothing is set in stone yet.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's going to be interesting.
I'm here for it. The next couple of weeks, I only have one show planned, I think, now, because I had some cancellations. So I think in terms of me, I probably won't be doing much the next couple of weeks, because I think soon things are going to hit the fan. It's going to get busy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would imagine. Well, I guess they really can't do anything until the Department of Justice or whatever. I mean, I kept saying, last week of October, first week in November, but I guess they're just they're kind of like us right now. They're in a hurry up and wait.
Yes, sir. Because like I said, if something's not approved, I don't know what the process is, but that means it's going back to the drawing board and then having to be resubmitted in some form or fashion. Yeah. That's going to take time. So we'll see what happens. Got some interesting conversations going on in the comments. Guys, I see some of y'all's questions. I'll ask towards the end for questions, and we'll go from there. I'm trying to star the ones out or like the ones out that I see that are good right now. So in terms of the name change, so at first you heard the National Spring Football League, and of course the group name, that's what the group name is now currently.
Right.
Do you feel like with the UFL, do you personally feel like that's the name, or I mean, what's your opinion on that matter?
Yeah, I did a little more research last night, and I'm a night owl, and I was probably up to 2 or 3 this morning, and from everybody I talked to in my little research, I'm pretty sure that's it. But we don't know that until it's set in stone, and I'm sure somebody's saying, well, oh, these guys don't know. It's just yes, opinion, but this isn't our first rodeo with spring football. It's not our first rodeo with USFL. It's not our first rodeo with the XFL. So I would be surprised now if it wasn't the UFL. And I kind of like that. And it kind of makes pretty good sense. I mean, obviously, United Football League, you've got 2 leagues uniting into one, merging into one. It makes perfect sense. Of course, I'm anxious. I was trying to halfway design some logos last night, just tinkering around with it. Gonna be interesting, what kind of logos they come up with and colors, and all this is just, it's new, it's exciting. But on the hub deal, I really feel like they need to. If there's going to be hubs, they need to explain to the fans why. They need to be open and honest, and then they need to say, "Look, this is only temporary. We are going to have, 10 out of the 12 teams in their home city next year, 12 out of the 12 the following year. And they need to, whatever they tell the fans, they need to be straight up with them. They need to be honest. Don't need to be no smoke and mirrors. We need to go ahead and get this behind us so everybody knows what they're looking at.
It's almost as if they don't truly know what the direction is in total.
Well, there's, you got 2 sides trying to figure it out. You've had one side that's over here that was doing this, one side's over here that was doing this, and they're both trying to figure out what's working and what's not working, you know?
Agreed. And I thought it was interesting that the XFL has the UFL name and under their copyright wing, and then the USFL did the NSFL. So I thought that was interesting too. It's almost like a contingency plan of some sort. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah, and I think that's probably exactly what it is. Uh, Shoot, man, we'll find out sooner or later.
Yes,
I would
sir.
prefer the UFL over probably the NSFL though, because that's kind of it gets to be a mouthful, you know.
I mean, right now it's all a mouthful to me. I'm almost screwing up all all those words and
Yeah.
USFL, NSFL, NWSFL. I mean, it's a lot, dude. But yeah, I just figured I'd gauge your opinion on it. Out of the both of them, which one do you like better? Tell me honestly.
Oh, the UFL. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. The United Football League sounds so much better. Yeah.
In terms of, here's another good fan question. I'm gonna hit this one because I like this one. What do you think of the rules we're going to use here? We're going to go more XFL style or USFL style, which it's very similar. There's only a few subtle differences, in my opinion.
You know, I'm a big fan of special teams. I'm a Chicago Bears fan and I'm a Alabama fan. And both have had historically really good punt and kickoff returners. So I've always been I'm big on special teams. And the NFL and college now is to me is ruining special teams with all the touchbacks. Uh, I, I like the XFL kickoff because you always got a return. I much prefer the USFL kickoff because it's more of a standard kickoff, but they're kicking it from the 20. It's got like 93% return rate, and you get some long returns out of that, and it just seems a lot more traditional. I just feel like the XFL kickoff for me, is a little too gimmicky. I'm old school. I like the option of an extra point. But then I also like, the 2 point conversion and 3 point conversion, basically the same thing. The onside kick scenario, either that or going forward on 4th and 12, 4th and 15, that's similar. I would like, the only thing I would prefer one over the other is I really prefer the USFL kickoff over the XFL kickoff. But again, I know if it's an XFL fan, you can't get them to see that, you know. And it's not that I'm a fan of both. I just prefer that kickoff.
Understood. Fair points. Nothing crazy there, though. I mean, in terms of what we were talking, it's at this point, it seems like the rules are going to be the last thing most people are worried about. That's just me.
Yeah. Well, they'll move on once they say their piece on whatever happens, then they'll move on to the next thing, you know.
Yes, sir. You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Now, so I mean, that basically is all I wanted to cover in show today. I didn't want to hash out any more stuff that's already been hit prior. There's a lot
Yeah.
of shows popping up now, so I know we don't want to keep being redundant on the info. So, like I say at home, guys, if you're interested more, please check it out at home. I'll put more notes and links in the notes for this show, but there's tons of resources out there. Just don't fall for something. You know, it's you have to gather your knowledge here through an unbiased filter, unfortunately.
Right.
So, fan questions. Had a question, and this one I got a text about. And this is pretty dicey. So you answer it how you feel best, okay?
Huh.
Someone asked me to ask you, would you be willing to lose Seattle in order to keep the Houston Roughnecks?
Would I be willing to lose Houston to keep Seattle?
No. Would you
Well,
be willing to lose Seattle to keep Houston?
yeah, because the whole Houston Gamler thing just don't make no sense. It's not a good idea. And I don't know why we keep hearing that. Why that seems to be. I would love to know and hear their thought process behind that. Um, Now I'm gonna tell you if 2023 wouldn't have screwed Seattle up so bad with their uniforms and their name and just changing everything up that everybody really liked from 2020, I would argue the point more. But, unfortunately, with Danny and Dwayne, what's done is done. And yes, by the way, Danny and Dwayne, we do know that you own the league. Yes, we know you run the league. And yes, like I said, y'all did a fantastic job of screwing it up, just like I was scared you were going to. Bravo on that. And once again, yes, Danny, we know that you're part owner of the league. But I was so ultra frustrated with them too. They were so me. Us. Well, it ain't about you. It's about the fans. And you should have thought about that shit before you changed everything that everybody liked about 2020. All you clowns had to do was pick up the ball from 2020 and run with it. And you had to put your quote unquote stamp on it. Well, how did that work out for you? That's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, I can agree with some of that. And
by the way, Danny and Dwayne are part owners of the league. If you hadn't heard,
they might not be going on with what's happening here.
It really, honestly, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. I turned on the whole deal about a year before the kickoff. I got some phone calls from X 2.0 people begging me to get off social media and quit going after them too. And I said, no, I will quit going after them too when they start doing what they said they were going to do when they first bought the league. And when I feel like they're making the right decisions, then I will stop. And that's kind of when, I lost a lot of my inside people with the XFL. Well, it's because, I love the league so much, and it was by far my favorite spring league of all time. I wasn't just going to lay down and let those two do what they did and at least not call them out for it. And like I said, I did this long before the league even kicked off. So what's done is done.
Understood. You're allowed to have opinions, man. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's what I always tell everyone. You're allowed to feel any way unless you're wishing some ill harm on someone or,
no.
Otherwise,
Look,
you can speak.
Honestly, I want Dwayne back. I think we need Dwayne back as a pitch man. I don't want him making no decisions. But no decisions, no power, because they, which I knew and I feared. I talked about this with Dirty at length, months before it kicked off. I was terrified what was going to happen, and they did it. They did a good job of it.
At certain points, I think what you say is valid, and at others, I do not. Because sometimes I felt like the only reason that XFL was in any kind of media spotlight was due to their two names, and unfortunately,
no, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind keeping them at all, especially Dwayne as a pitch man. But they don't need to be in control of anything. They don't need to have any say so over anything, in my opinion. They proved they're not worth a shit at making decisions.
Who knows though? What if it's Redbird making all the decisions and not them? That's my thing. What if they are just that face and they're being used just like anything else? Is my
There's
thoughts.
always that, but some little birdies have told me differently.
Understood.
But now I will say this: the whole Vegas debacle was Jerry. From what I've heard that from multiple sources, the whole Vegas Vipers deal and the whole mess they had 27, 28 months to end up at Cashman and that dump and that whole turf looked like the bad news bears. That whole Vegas deal was supposedly Jerry. So that was his baby.
I can't attest to that personally, but I mean I've read the same stuff you have, so I totally get it.
Yeah.
Had some more questions. I'm just going to get back to the fan questions. Jared said, "Do you think we'll play one final XFL season in 2024?"
No.
Yeah, I don't
If
think they
there's no
will either.
merger, absolutely, yeah. If something happens with the merger, both leagues are going to play next year. I feel pretty firmly about that.
What I've been told on both ends, it's the death of a brand for whether it be XFL or USFL. But the way things are looking, according to these inside sources, the USFL brand isn't dying. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere, in my opinion. XFL probably, from the way we look.
Well, again, that's just one more rumor.
I understand.
I kept hearing 6-6 and then 5-7, and now we heard 8-4 today. All keeps going back to 12 teams, though, don't it?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Kind of do the math there, and it seems like 12 teams is more than likely going to be. And I'm excited about that. It's a hell of a lot better than 8 or 10.
Yeah, agreed.
I feel like they need to do 6-6. You need to have an XFL division and a USFL division. I think that would be That would be awesome. That would keep
It would
both
be
of
great.
them, both, fan bases engaged, because for some reason they can't like football. They got to like one or the other, which I'll never get. But
I mean, that's almost some Vince McMahon level marketing right there, and I don't know if this new brand is going to have anything like that in it. I hope, because that would be awesome, dude. I can't imagine like the two brands battling out under the same name. Man, give me that all day long. That's going to sell tickets. That's going to get you people watching. Going to get media covering you. All these different things and opportunities. So, I'm right there with you. Now,
and just you would think someone with sales or marketing experience might have come up with that idea. I mean, XFL versus USFL and the dude, and then the winner of each division, plays in the championship game. I mean, dude, but whatever. What do we know?
Exactly. And I'm the same. That's it. All I can do is talk on my low level podcast about what's going on. And so that's what I do,
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about the XFL? I mean, both leagues are going on business as usual, but the XFL the past couple of days they've released some letters of intent signings. I mean, this is very confusing. Whether you're a fan or media or whatever you are, it's confusing to me. And I know some of these guys personally, and I've been rooting for them, man, for a while. So I'm glad to see them on this list. We've saw guys that were off the XFL come back. We saw a lot of different things, but it's like, what do these men think? I need to get some of them on and talk to them and engage with them and see what's going through their head or what they've been told. Because it seems like it'd be a lot, and it'd make you look very bad to have someone signed to one of these teams that may get cut. That's going to look bad. What do you think?
I don't even know what to, USFL's doing signings too. I see them, just about every day. Or this team signed this guy. This team signed this guy.
They have
the Birmingham Stallions got this. I mean, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it.
Yep, that's what my thoughts exactly. I see this news and I'm not like, oh my gosh, but I'm definitely not thinking, well, we're going to see all these guys playing next year, because what the hell are we?
Yeah, I think both leagues were pretty honest with what we've heard, that it was going to be business as usual. Because it seems like until pen meets paper and it's done, it is business as usual for both leagues. And I know it's driving both fan bases crazy, though.
Well, it's just the same thing as, say this merger doesn't happen and we continue on with our season as normal. I mean, the USFL, they're pretty much good because their schedule was set later. They have time to get things correct and everything's set still, from what I understand.
Right.
With the XFL, that's not the truth. We've got places that don't have anywhere to play currently. We've got teams that talked about moving. There's a lot of different factors right there. And then another thing is, besides the showcase, we didn't see much XFL activity, whereas USFL, man, you were seeing stuff every day, something new coming out all the time. So just wanted to get your thoughts on it. I'm glad they're doing stuff, though. I just wish it wouldn't run concurrent with updates or more news or things that kind of second guess that.
I'm hearing there's contingency plans every which way, but as many people as I've talked to, whether it be insiders or people that actually work with these leagues, it's going to have to take something epic for this to not merge, for this to not actually happen. I mean, it's everybody tell you, no, it's done deal. No. I mean, it's just like it's a foregone conclusion that it's not if, it's when. Whether it be the November 2nd, October 31st, whatever. It's a done deal. So, I mean, I think the only contingency plans were really them trying to figure out exactly what schedule they're going to go with, which teams they're going to go with. But it seems to me that it's just it's done. I mean, it's done, and we need to be excited about it and support it. And I think there's going to be a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And unless we got any more fan questions, that's about it for me. I think we've hit a good stopping point. I don't want to sit on here all night and talk about the same stuff for 2 hours straight. So I appreciate you again coming on, dude. I mean, seriously, appreciate you wasting your Friday with me.
No, thank you for having me back on. I appreciate it.
We're getting some more questions come in now. So let's click this one. With the teams and merger, will we see a longer season? Who knows? I'm not going to answer that.
I was hoping so. I'd asked and asked, we going to a 12-game season, and I haven't got anything back to make me think that. But somebody says it's a possibility, but I'm really the only one even talking about that. So like I said, I had to initiate that conversation, and we don't seem to be hearing it from others. So there might still be 10 games the first year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it not to grow in year 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, agreed. So how would the XFL broadcast? Do they have their deal still with ESPN if the merger doesn't happen? So we discussed this a little bit on the show prior, and honestly, that's going to be more in the details of that approval, more of what's going on. We don't know. I mean, if it's more on the USFL side, you're going to be looking at a lot more Fox and such. If honestly though, there's not anything that's saying which one. We've had some news and info drop of rumors and such, and someone saying that there would be a Fox presentation, but that wasn't exclusive. It didn't mean they were doing it exclusively. So I don't know, man. It's really just a matter of that deal at this point and how they work it out.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen. I mean, like I said, I know everybody. You still got some, and I get tickled. You get a few XFL fans in my group that are just, oh, this is live. No, this ain't gonna happen. There's no way. It's happening, guys. And I mean, I don't know. I know some people, and I get it. They'll believe it when they see the logo and when they see the advertising and the website and the social media page change. And I get that, but it's 99.9%. It's done. It's just waiting on it to get signed off on.
So in terms of that, what do you think of the TV spots? What are they going to go with? You think what?
It's going to be Fox and NBC.
Yeah, that'd be the best note. I mean, in my opinion, it's better than ESPN Plus. I never liked that thing. Plus, if you get an antenna,
be any more. Yeah, won't be. I don't think be any more FS1. No ESPN2, no ESPN Plus, no USA. Thankfully, I think with what we're looking at here, those days are probably over.
I hope.
Be very, very, very few.
I like being able to watch it from the phone. I thought that was pretty cool, being able to watch it while we're gone. But otherwise, it was a pain in the ass to watch those games on my TV. Yeah. And that's me talking honestly. If I can do like a Saints game, you set the antenna up, it takes 10 seconds, and then you can watch whatever, whenever that's on those channels. So, yeah, I like that better myself, too.
Yeah.
Somebody said just no hubs.
Yeah.
But anyway, Brett, I mean, that's about all I got, bro. I appreciate you again
I mean,
coming on.
I feel them too. I understand it and I get it and I'm on the same page. But what's that? I guess I've already cussed on your show enough.
No,
Let me
you're
throw
good. You
one
can
more out
cuss.
to you.
I
Yeah,
ask
you
people
want.
just not to use the F-bomb, man. Cuss
Yeah,
away.
yeah. You want one hand shit in the other. See which one fills up the fastest.
Somebody would have a debate about that for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh
A lot
yeah.
of factors involved.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, before I let you go, do you want to tell anybody about your social media or your show or anything like that? I'll make sure to include everything in my notes. And then I've had this flashing at the bottom with your information as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm like never on Twitter hardly. Don't have time. I'm doing my regular job plus trying to run community setup over over here in town. So I just stick to my Facebook. And I guess again it's National Spring Football League. That's the name of the group. It was XFL and USFL fans. I guess future name will be it's pending. It's just like we're all in a hurry up and wait.
Yep.
But we're pretty easy to find. We got about 18,600 members, something like that. We'd love to have every one of you. We have a lot of good members in there. It might be a little choppy right now, but for the most part, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
it's like I said, entertaining, educational, and you meet a lot of good people, and it's good for the league. And I've even had some league reps tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm in there. Oh yeah, we know about it. Oh yeah, so that's a good thing."
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, as long as it's not toxic shit, then we're good. And I don't see that often from your stuff. Most of those discussions get closed down pretty quick in that case,
Yeah, we try to keep everything clean. I told them today with that news breakout, so let's pay attention to everything because we're going to make sure we don't just allow negativity to run rampant in there.
Yep. True story. Brahma Bade said, you don't crap where you eat.
Yeah,
About our
yeah.
combo
I was
earlier.
trying to tell one of my coworkers that not too long ago. I said, remember because you can just imagine. I said, you know that old saying, right? And I said, what's that? I said, don't crap where you eat.
Oh boy. I'm just
Yeah.
throwing through the comments, man. Once again, I appreciate you, Brett. Y'all check out Brett on the Facebook group. National Spring Football League is what it is right now. He's probably going to change it as we go, but if you search that, you should find it under groups on Facebook. It's pretty easy to find, and you'll have to submit to be actually in the group, but it's super easy, and there's no process besides answering a couple questions.
Yeah, and I don't even check the questions, and it's nice when people actually answer them. But I told us, hell, just let the people through. We try to keep the bots and the fakes and all that out there. If we let one slip in, we get rid of them immediately. You know how that is.
Yeah, I can speak from personal experience. Your page is less of the bots than I've experienced in others that don't have any kind of like security to get in.
Right.
But yeah, Brett, man, appreciate you greatly. Good luck as you go forward in your show. You and Daddy Ed, I'll be watching. And man, if you ever need anything, give me a shout anytime. I
All right,
appreciate
man.
you
Well, I
letting me
appreciate you
post.
having me on.
Hey, before you hop off, I appreciate you letting me post in your group. When I got started in this, all I was doing was sharing info with your groups and a couple others. And it just kind of grew from there. And it's still not crazy big, but man, from there to now is a big difference. And that's what started it for me. So thank you again,
Yeah.
dude, for letting me post in there and share my opinions or spread some info. Greatly appreciated, sir.
Yeah, man. We're all in this together. Like I said, it's fun, man. It's just fun. It's different. To me, it's almost with the NIL and with the guys getting paid so much money in the NFL now, it's almost like high school football to me. It's the purest form. It's guys that are just blue collar guys just trying to make it, man.
Yep.
With some cool team names, some cool uniforms, and some different cities that you don't necessarily have teams. And you get these rabid fan bases, and dude, it's just fun. That's the only way I could really. It's spring football is just fun.
Agreed. I'm right there with you. And ever since AAF, I fell in love, and you know how that went. And I'm still in love with it as we go now. So
yeah,
keep doing what you do, dude. Bring that unbiased opinion and then just kind of garner these conversations and fan engagement. I think you do a good job, and your group is a representation of a successful fan engagement group. And in coming months, we'll see what comes out of everything, but I think it'll be a good thing in the end, my personal opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You take care, and I enjoy it, man.
Yes, sir. Same here. Have a good night, my friend.
You too. Good weekend.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. I enjoyed that. Appreciate Brett again for coming on. That's another full circle one. I've been wanting him to come on for a while, so I'm glad he finally did. Get some more of his opinions and knowledge and just kind of see how he runs the group. Those groups on there can be kind of biased sometimes, and I'll say there's 3 or 4 with his is one of those that are not. You can talk. So go in there, discuss, present information, points, opinions. It's all welcome. There's going to be a few toxic folks, but in the end, it's all for the betterment of the league and you as a fan. And coming in, that's like I said, that's how I kind of found my spark in doing this, was talking in those groups, sharing information, getting the word out about the XFL. And I was just one of many. There are many, many individuals that do that. So thank you, Brett, for allowing me to do that, man. That's how I got my start, honestly. I want to thank XFL and XFL board. As always, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you letting me cover XFL. XFL board, appreciate you partnering up and allowing me to be on your side and showcase some of your stuff, and you showcase mine. Great relationship. Thank you again. Man, appreciate you guys watching tonight. Like I said, I got one show Tuesday next week, and then otherwise I'm off for a while. If anything happens, I'll probably schedule some more shows, but honestly, I do not plan on trying to jam any more in unless something occurs. We're getting a lot of different shows out here. We're getting a lot of different feedback and opinions in the air, and that's awesome, but I feel like it's kind of getting oversaturated with me, so I'm kind of going to back it out until something happens. So check again. Tuesday, we'll have Alan Alford on. He's got his own sports talk show. He's a good host. I've been on his show before. It's a call-in type live show, and it actually is occurring right now. I think maybe you can catch it after this one. Not sure. It's Alan Alford Sports Talk Show. He's a pretty good guy. Check him out. He'll be on Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central. Please, if you're watching, like, share, and follow the show. I'm just trying to get some more likes, get it up. I feel like we're getting a lot of engagement. I see a lot of people watching, but not too many people liking and following. I hate asking for that, too. I hate it. And Mike G was one of the main proponents in making me. So here you go, Mike G. I'm asking. I appreciate you guys for watching and supporting the league, the athletes, me, the coach, anything. I appreciate it, and thank you so much. This is nonprofit. We don't make any cash. The guys that help with the show and that are on the show or whatever, it's all freebies, and we're doing it for the love. So thank you guys. The petition I'll have in the show notes for Houston. Now, I've shared it before. I'll share it again. Check out the show notes. You just click and go. It's super easy to fill out, and they're almost to 500. So try to fill that out if you get a chance. It may not help anything, but at least they're making their voices heard, and I appreciate it greatly in the whole fan escape of things. They could just pull out and say, nah, I'm done. And they're not. They're trying to do what they can. So check out those passionate fans. Anyway, I think it's about it, guys. I look forward to my break after Tuesday. Like I said, if anything else drops, I'll be back on. You know it, and we'll get something going. Check the comments. Brahma Babe, I see you. Appreciate you watching, Brahma Babe. I'm going to try to get all the super fans on soon, at least like 4 or 5 of y'all. So keep that in the air, okay? Try to line that up for November and get y'all on together. I think that'll make some great conversation. I think that's all I got, guys. Yep, that's all I got. Until next time, my friends, have a good night. Don't stress too much about this stuff. Let it play. Let it happen. In the end, we have no control. All we can do is provide support and opinions, and that's fine, but let's see what happens. Once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for following. Have a good night, y'all. Be safe this weekend. Peace out.